Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me for this installment of Playbill's Stream Stealers. I'm Mark Bikert, editor-in-chief of Playbill, and today's special guest is Dan Fogler, who won a Tony for his Broadway debut, always an auspicious beginning, and has a lot of other projects and a lot of other mediums, so let's bring him on.
Oh,
I mean, when I said a quick intro, nobody wants to just see me. They want to see the Tony winner.
I ran to the bathroom to make sure my face was okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, good.
It's a Thursday afternoon in July. We're all doing the best we can.
Yes. So how you doing, man? You doing okay? Where are you at? In New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York. Where are you?
I'm in the UK.
Oh, nice. So it's late. It's getting late there.
Yeah, it's like 9:30.
See, I mean, that's bedtime. In quarantine, that's bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, bedtime is any time in quarantine, right? It's like, I guess I'll nap again.
I'm either thinking about taking a nap, napping, thinking about eating, or refilling the ice trays because I go through so much ice. I had no idea that I use this much ice.
Wow. Yeah.
Between cocktails and coffee, you know.
How are your dreams? Are they weird? My dreams are weird.
No weirder than usual. I mean, the other night I dreamed that Delta Burke and I were hanging out and I was moisturizing her legs while we talked about steel magnolias. So I think that's pretty normal.
I had a recurring dream as a child where Bernadette Peters was in a vat of Breyer's ice cream, and I would eat my way to her.
I really hope that this was not inspired by her series of Breyer's ice cream commercials.
I think it was.
I hope that you had just made that connection just on your own as a child.
No,
just some kind of psychic thing.
Totally.
Have you rewatched those commercials recently, by the way?
No, just in my mind.
I'm just obsessed with this small era in time where people were like, you know who our sexy lady is? Bernadette Peters.
Yeah.
He's gonna fake an orgasm selling Breyer's frozen dessert.
Yeah. I really liked her from The Jerk, you know. I fell in love with her from that movie.
I mean, the Steve Martin movies no one ever talks about, but she's great in Pennies from Heaven, which is so heartbreaking and completely unlike anything that she's done since.
Yeah. Yeah, I like her. I've been having a crazy dream recently, which is theater related. So I have these anxiety dreams where I'll be sitting there in the middle of like a conversation like this and everything seems normal. And then like I'll hear a cue, some familiar cue from some play. And someone like tells me, dude, what are you doing? You're supposed to be on right now. And I go, oh God. And then I start like, and I never realize I'm dreaming. It happens to me a lot. And I'm running around and I make some weird makeshift costume out of like stuff out of my hamper. And I'm like, oh God, what am I doing? And then I will jump on stage and always like hurt my ankle, but just be like, the show must go on. And I like limp on stage and I'm like, I look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame and I have no clue. I'm like, what is my line? Where am I? And so I had one of those recently and it was very elaborate. It was, I was in the middle of like a party and someone starts applying like heavy prosthetic makeup to me. And I'm like, what's going on? I thought we were just at a party. And they're just like, no, man, you're performing. And I'm like, oh, yes, of course. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, what is this? What am I supposed to be? Because I'm trying to I'm playing dumb because I'm like trying to figure out what character I'm supposed to be in this play that I'm supposed to go on. And the makeup is falling off. And someone hands me this like elaborate mini cassette recorder. Uh-huh. And it has all of these like 20 different mini cassettes. He's like, don't worry. Anytime you need a line, just hit one of the cassettes. So I was like, oh yeah, no problem. So I'm like running on to do this play. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. I was like, that's fine. And I go to hit the cassettes, and all of the cassettes go flying everywhere. And I was like, why? How am I? It was crazy, man. And I have that dream so often, like those anxiety dreams, and you'd think I'd be like, schmuck, you're having a dream right now, you know?
I mean, the only recurring dreams that I have, it's always I'm in college again. I haven't gone to class all semester.
Right.
And then my anxiety is not that I have to do the test or anything. My anxiety is I have to find where it is, and I really don't care.
Right.
I'm like, oh, I should care more.
That's good. That's your way of lucid dreaming. You're just like, you know what? I'm late for this math quiz, but I don't give a shit. I don't need math right now. That's what you're. Yeah.
And you know what? None of us need math. That's why we have Alexa.
Exactly. Alexa, tell me what I should do with my life.
She does not care for that question. I know from personal experience.
I mean, I had a crazy experience with Alexa recently, but let's, I don't know.
Should we talk about real things?
I mean, these are all real things.
These are very real things. I mean, We've already covered Bernadette Peters and Briars. We've covered Delta Burke. We've covered anxiety dreams.
Exactly. I think we're good, man.
Okay, so just on the, you know what? Let's just own it. Let's just have a really fucking weird interview.
Yeah. Why not?
So graphic novel, you have a series of graphic novels. I think 3. By the end of the summer, there will be 3 released.
Yes, all with Heavy Metal Magazine. Moon Lake, which is my like Twilight Zone tribute, and then Brooklyn Gladiator, which is my dystopian sci-fi cautionary tale, and then the prequel
for living. So thank you for living.
Exactly. So I was like, oh my God, we're living this sci-fi tale right now. So I better write about what's happening right now. So I started writing the prequel, which is Fishkill, which is eerily about exactly what's happening right now. It's kind of crazy. It was written 2 years ago, and it's becoming incredibly prophetic. A lot of this stuff is becoming prophetic and very strange.
One of the things that I've always liked about your career is you do a lot of genre work, but it's always in things that are toying with the conventions of genre. So like Fantastic Beasts and the graphic novels, and even your podcast is theoretically a podcast about movies and talking about movies with friends and fellow actors. That's not quite what it is, but that's the log line. And so I'm curious, are you someone who grew up on a lot of genre stuff? Like you feel like a fellow R.L. Stine Fear Street aficionado?
R.L. Stine. That is that's interesting. Yeah, no, that is I grew up in the 80s, you know. So yeah, like everything I write now is a homage to something that I stayed up too late, you know, past my bedtime to watch as a kid. I mean, that's just plain and simple, really.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like genre, like love genre. Like favorite movie. My favorite movie is a tie between Empire Strikes Back and Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, and love Jaws, and you know, loved all the Star Wars, and like my favorite movies are, you know, gigantic fantasy, you know, franchise movies that that, you know, take you to another world. Avatar, like I love gigantic movies like that. Matrix, and yeah, like that's why you go to the movie theater. You know, you want to You want to see something like you can see an intimate drama on your television, but there's something about seeing like a mega franchise movie on the big screen. And like my podcast is the 40 Experience podcast. So 40X Movies, which they were our first sponsor. That's like they make a ride out of the movie, the chairs move and there's wind and, it's like all sorts of fun, extra sensory stuff that makes you feel like you're in the movie. And I found myself really, I just was really drawn to that style of movie watching because it just spoke to the kid in me, like watching the recent Star Wars movies, and no matter how good or bad they were, I watched them in 40X, and there was always a moment where I was like just smiling with tears coming down my face as I'm being made to feel like I'm in the Millennium Falcon, riding around through the, red salt planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So love genre. That's what I grew up on, marinated in that.
I feel bad for the kids growing up today who don't have I don't know how much we overlapped. I grew up in some of the 80s. But those like the weekend afternoon movies on UPN where they would air like super trashy. I think that's where I saw the Manitou, that movie with Tony Curtis where a woman has a medicine man growing in a boil on her neck.
Oh, right.
You remember this?
Yeah, crazy movies. Yeah.
Yeah, but movies like that. And then USA showing their creepy, sexy movies late at night and silk stockings and
totally
like all that stuff. That's the aesthetic of so much of our generation is these weird, hazy movies and TV shows.
Yeah. Roger Corman, crazy, funky. The first movie I ever directed was a movie just like that called Hysterical Psycho, which was it takes place at Moon Lake. All these, it's very like there are moments in it that are very Blue Velvet and weird, but it's comedy mixed with gore and horror, and it's a homage to one of those movies. And that movie was the planted the seeds for Moon Lake, the whole graphic novel series. And so it's really cool because I grew up on all that stuff, and then to be part of Fantastic Beasts with all the creatures and running, like in the first movie, anytime, like running from the erumpent or whatever, like in my head, I was like, I'm Indiana Jones right now running from the boulder, man. And I was like playing out all these childhood fantasies and then being on, we talk about genre, like mixing. I get so many like fulfilled being on The Walking Dead because I get to be in like a Western, riding all the horses and stuff, and I get to be in like a medieval thing with all the weaponry, and I get to be in obviously a zombie flick, a post-apocalyptic movie. It's like all these different. So I get a lot of boxes ticked off for all the genre movies that I want to be in before I get out of here.
And you already have the Tony, so Broadway's checked off.
That's true. And not a lot of people know that it's actually a time turner, the Tony. It's you can spin it.
Oh.
And it creates an electromagnetic time bubble around you. So if the shit hits the fan and we are in the apocalypse, I just go, woo, spin, 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 spin. And then I like click my heels and I just wish like, 1983. And then boom, I'm there.
And that is how Bernadette Peters stays looking so youthful.
Yes, exactly. I find Bernadette Peters, and I marry her. Don't tell my wife. Oh my God, this only happens after.
Time. It's a different timeline.
It's only a different time stream. That's right. Exactly. But I shouldn't meet myself. Oh, great God.
So I just rewatched Back to the Future 2.
Oh, good.
Have you seen Back to the Future 2 recently?
That's the one where he's in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, we're living.
Have you seen it recently? / did you remember that he plays his daughter?
Yeah. We're living that right now. We're living Back to the Future now. And you realize that Trump is Biff, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And do you want to go there right now?
I don't care. Go.
Look into this. This is like Rick and Morty meets Back to the Future. Because so Tesla died. I'm going to say this in a nutshell, America and the world and Broadway. Tesla died, and all of his manuals were scooped up. Inside his manuals, he had found the secret to time travel. That specific manual landed in the hands of a very intelligent professor at MIT whose name was Trump. John Trump, I believe his name was. Uncle to Donald. So now here comes Back to the Future. Here comes little Donnie walking into the lab. Hey, Uncle, what are you working on?
It's a really good Donald impression.
Hey, Donnie, we're gonna go through time and we're gonna bet on horses, and I'm gonna make you a billionaire, and now we're gonna make you president. It's freaky, but it's true. We're living it.
No, it's like I'm there.
Yes. So Biff is Trump. And
Leah Thompson is Leah Thompson.
Yeah, Leah Thompson's always Leah Thompson. Yeah. She's always going to be Leah Thompson, isn't she?
Except when she's Caroline in the City.
I had the pleasure of she directed me in a couple Goldbergs episodes. So.
Oh yeah, she directs now. I love her. I think she's fantastic.
She's really great. She's like one of my favorite people, actually. I want to get her on my podcast. Yes. Yes.
So tell me about doing Broadway.
Oh, good segue. Let me think here. Oh, Broadway was a fleeting, wonderful memory. Broadway. My God, Broadway was
15 years ago.
Holy shit. Broadway was a dream, right? I've had these weird fluctuations in my career where I'm at a point in my career where I'm just like, it's going to be years before I get on Broadway, and then, it was a little some time, but so we created the Spelling Bee show. I create this character, and it takes about 3 years from off Broadway to, which was crazy. We were doing this show purely as an improv show, no music.
Yeah.
And then Wendy Wasserstein comes to see the show because Sarah Salzberg, who was Schwartz and Grubinier in the show, was her nanny. Thank God she was her nanny. So Wendy Wasserstein comes to see this crazy improv Spelling Bee show. She falls in love with it. She calls her friend Bill Finn. The rest is history. So they come and see the show, and then the next thing we know, we're workshopping it in the frickin' Berkshires. And then we're off Broadway, and it's a thing. And yeah, I got my agent from that, my managers. Suddenly we're on Broadway. I'm a year on Broadway, and I'm like, oh my God, fantasies fulfilled. And then I get Tony nomination, and I'm just like, crazy. This is insane. There's no and then I start getting TV offers and shit. And then I'm sitting there at Radio City, and I'm like, you know what, Dan? This is great. You don't need to win. Like you were on Broadway for a year, man. It's like, and then they call my name, and then it was just like, what? Dreams come true, and it was very strange. And then obviously after that, there were film offers, and then that jump started my career. And then there have been ups and downs, obviously, but that was the real. All you gotta do is win a Tony Award. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
It's so easy, but sometimes you have to say the easy, simple, obvious thing.
Yeah.
Win a Tony Award.
Yeah, I definitely I definitely feel like I kind of help manifest the stuff that happens to me. Like I don't know. I put out positive vibes, and they seem to work out. Yeah.
I tried to set a positive affirmation or intention at the start of every day. I gave up, and now my intention every day is, today you will not let anyone know how you truly feel about them. That is nice. More effective.
Well, I can't tell that you hate me. It's you're really doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a Tony too, so not a lot of people know that.
Oh, good for you.
Best replacement.
Best replacement.
Yeah, it was short-lived.
Wow.
Yeah, I replaced Christine Ebersol in Grey Gardens.
That is. I wish I saw that. What was the first
bootleg on YouTube? Actually, so
really?
Check it out.
What was the first show you ever saw on Broadway?
On Broadway, The Full Monty.
Oh, really? Okay, wow.
Yeah,
The Full Monty. So that was in the 90s, right?
No, that was it opened in 2000. I saw it in 2001.
Okay, so right, early aughts.
Yeah, because I just moved here. But yeah, I mean that's what's crazy is it's that weird in between time where no one now grew up on those scores, right. And they were pre-internet, like not pre-internet, but pre-YouTube and bootlegs and easily accessible clips. So there's this weird chunk of musical theater for 8 years that not a ton of people are overly familiar with. And I think Spelling Bee is the other side of that cusp, where Spelling Bee is something that has a really dedicated cult following because it was still running when YouTube became a thing. So there's people singing those songs, and the Full Monty definitely feels like something that people don't know as well as they should. I loved it.
Yeah, I saw that show. I thought that. Did I see that show? I think I saw that show. I saw a bunch of shows. Early 2000s. Man, I haven't seen a show in a long time.
Well, Broadway's closed right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's very sad. The first show I ever saw was Into the Woods with Bernadette Peters and Chip Zien and directed by James Lapine, which was crazy because he ended up directing Spelling Bee, and so that was a big surreal moment as well.
It all comes back to Bernadette for you.
It really does. It really does. Oh, Bernadette.
I mean,
come on. She's she still looks wonderful. She is a year older than Al Pacino. You're kidding me.
No.
Why is that your reference?
Because look at her and look at him.
Right. He can't sing.
Which is what Which is one, like, good for you, Bernadette. Good genes. And also, like, man, the society just does not allow women to age the same way it allows men to age.
Now I want to see the two of them in Guys and Dolls.
Oh.
As Nathan Lane. As Nathan Detroit and Adelaide.
God, Bernadette would be a great Nathan Lane.
Bernadette would be a great Nathan Lane.
Yeah. She has 2 Tonys. She can do no wrong.
I mean, she can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Wait, didn't you do some Fox reality show as Al Pacino, like you did an Al Pacino impression?
I did Al Pacino as Little Orphan Annie, but I was gonna do Al Pacino as Nathan Detroit. Sweetheart, Sobe, friggin' shoot bullets through me. I love you. Give a holler. Give a friggin' holler. Hate me. Go ahead. Hate me. Not bad.
I would pay premium prices.
It would take so long for him to get through that song. You know what? Oh. I saw Guys and Dolls with Nathan Lane on Broadway a couple times.
Really?
Yeah. For some reason, I saw it like 3 times, and the first time it was like I went with my family, and then like my mom like organized a school trip, so I went again with that. And then there were I saw it like and another time with other family, saw it a bunch, and it was such a remarkable performance. That whole show was amazing. And during that song, Sue Me, I'd never seen this before. They got 3 standing ovations within the song. Okay? Within the song. So the first standing ovation, they stand up like a quarter way through the song on some comedy bit, hysterical comedy bit of Nathan Lane, and she's hitting him on the head, and he's smashed into the ground, and it stops. People are laughing. They stand up, standing ovation. Okay, they say, "Okay, sit, everyone sit." I saw this happen 3 fucking different times. That's a lot of saying.
Wild.
In the middle of the show. Yeah.
My favorite Guys and Dolls story. Do you know what Faith Prince sang for her audition for Adelaide? She sang Something Wonderful from The King and I as Miss Adelaide.
Oh.
So beautiful ballad, but she already did the voice. She auditioned in that Adelaide voice, singing this gorgeous Rodgers and Hammerstein ballad.
Genius.
Yeah.
That show was genius. It was so colorful, and costumes, and everybody, Harry the horse was in that, and that's the actor that went on to be Pumbaa.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Who else was in that? JJ what's his name? Yeah. A lot of great people were in that cast, man. It was a great show.
Victoria Clark was Miss Adelaide's understudy.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that's a part I would love to play sometime. Nathan Detroit.
You know what? When Broadway reopens, there it is, folks.
Yes. We'll wrap everybody in body condoms and we'll go. Mm-hmm. What will applause sound like?
It'll be ASL applause.
Oh. ASL applause.
That's ASL for applause.
Yeah. I mean, I guess everybody can kind of like behind their masks just be all everyone. God.
This
is so disheartening.
I don't know if this is my best interview or my worst interview ever.
I had fun. They're throwing roses, and you're just like like avoiding them. Like, don't touch me.
Yeah. We have to wrap up.
Oh, damn it.
But I have to ask you my favorite question, or my favorite current question, which was, what are you watching in quarantine? But now might be, what is your favorite Bernadette Peters commercial? But we'll stick with, what are you watching in quarantine?
What am I watching in quarantine? I just started to watch Sense8, which I find fascinating. And I started watching The Boys.
Yeah.
So I watched that, read that comic book, which I'm really digging as well. What else? I saw. Oh yeah, been watching some interesting documentaries. Yeah, but those are the two series that I've been sinking my teeth into. You have any recommendations?
Well, I want to say I love The Boys. I watched it when it premiered last year, and season 2 comes out in September.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Trying to.
What if I really loved The Great on Hulu.
The which one?
The Great, about Catherine the Great it's from the guy who wrote The Favorite.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That's really good. And then I just caught up I watched Run with Merritt Wever and on HBO, which I loved. I did it. It's 6-7 episodes. I did it in a day.
Oh, cool. Oh, you know what else? Halt and Catch Fire. I started watching. That was pretty cool.
Thank you for reminding me. Someone else was talking about that the other week, and I was like, oh, I've got to put that on my list so that I remember to, and I didn't. So that is my July 4th weekend now. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure, man.
Well, this has been a wild ride.
It's always a wild ride with me. Always.
I can't even imagine what actually being in a 4D experience is like, because this felt like a 4D experience.
This is Mr. Fogler's wild ride. It's as if I'm like that. It's as if I'm there with you.
It is. Yeah. I look up from my computer and you've materialized in front of me.
I'm just standing there. You thought this was over. It's just beginning.
I would read that graphic novel. Take me on a wild adventure.
And I just have my time turner, and then that's it. My Tony time turner, and then we're traveling through space-time.
We just travel to the theater to save it.
Exactly.
We have to go back. We have to go back to the beginning.
You don't understand. We got to go back to 1994 and watch Guys in the House again 3 more times. Dan Fogler, anytime you need anything from Playbill, you let me know, and it is yours. Awesome. Let's do it, man. I'd like a nice long run as Nathan Detroit at some point in the near future. Done. Without too many plastic tarps involved.
Yeah. It might have to be a one-man Guys and Dolls, but that's okay.
I can do that.
I believe in you. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thank you all of you for watching. And I will see you next week on Tuesday when I have Tatiana Maslany join me to talk about Carrie Mason.
Awesome.